Okay, in this video, I'm going to trim this into a dome lid to fit this jar here that has lost its lid. Here's an example of a dome lid, and I'm going to also throw a knob on top of it as well. So first off, I threw this the other day. It is leather hard. I'm going to center it like this, using my needle tool. Almost there. All right, we're scraping all the way around. I'm gonna pin this down. And I am going to pin it down low because if you saw when I first put that on there, it is a little bit large. Now this is going to shrink, and that's been fired. So it's a little harder to match. Ideally, you want to fit your lid to a leather hard piece. Which actually, you know what, maybe we're actually going to fit it to this jar because I forgot I had it. So you should always try to fit a leather hard pot to a leather hard pot. Just because this one has already been fired, and so it's harder to account for shrinkage. Okay. So I'm going to start by trimming this and making it round, because again, we're making a dome lid, and typically they kind of just look like bowls, except for we're not going to have a foot on this. Dump my drip trays here. They're getting a little full from all these demos. So I've rounded that corner. Now I'm gonna flatten this top some. Just make sure it's nice and level, because we don't always wire everything perfectly off the bat. And this was thrown upside down. And I don't want to get this too thin because I am going to throw a knob on here. Okay. So I've gotten that rounded. Now I'm going to take some clay, and I really don't need a whole lot. I can always start with more and trim it off just to be safe. So I'm just going to kind of wedge this little ball of clay up with 2 fingers here. And then I'm going to score it on to this pot. Or this lid, I should say. Gonna score it on here. Luckily, I have all of this slip right here because I've been working at this wheel. And then I'm gonna kind of jam it onto there. Make sure it's nice and stuck. And then I'm going to basically center this little amount of clay onto this lid. Which I can only kind of use my fingers for, as you can see. Can't use all my hands here. Okay, so I've centered that on. You can make, you know, a really tall kind of ornate knob like I have on this guy. You can also make just kind of a little circle knob. And I'm just gonna kind of make this little divoted style knob because I don't have one that has this example here, really. And this is kind of just the first style of knob I actually learned to make. Now, one important part though is you want to make sure that this under here is not too chunky so your fingers can actually grab. So I'm going to use a wooden stick here, I think, to kind of cut some of that clay out. So that way my fingers can really grab this knob. And I'm going to smooth it. Okay. So, moment of truth, is this lid going to fit my jar? Do I need to adjust it anymore? So, it cannot be wider than this. And wow, look at that. That's exactly right. And this is going to shrink a little bit. And so is that. So I'm going to just take this off. And I might just very carefully kind of smooth that. Take off just that last little bit so I know it's going to fit well. Because also it probably got a little dented when I was doing that. So I'm just taking off a smidge of clay here just so I will be confident that it's going to fit and it's round and not messed up from the clay holding it. Get that stuff out of there. All right, and that should be good.